Well, good morning, everybody. This is Jim Hovland, your Edina Mayor, and it is the Mayor's Minute on Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. We're going to talk about travel again today, and I don't know if you're like our household, but one of the things the pandemic has done is made you really feel like you can hardly wait to travel again. And I find myself at night looking on the computer at airplane deals, and I'm getting my second shot today, which is a great thing. And so you think I get a couple weeks post vaccination, I should be able to go somewhere. My wife's had a double vaccination, but really, they're saying we shouldn't be traveling, and I'm going to reluctantly, I think, follow that notion. But it's hard, and I appreciate everybody that's got plans to go somewhere for spring break, and we just want you to be as careful as you can possibly be. But I will tell you at the top of the list is, in order to provide yourself the best protection, you and your family, you shouldn't be traveling at all. I mean, the CDC is advising no travel. Each case starts a new chain of spread that can lead to more and more cases indirectly tied to a personal trip. It's simply not a good time to go out of state on travel, whether it's by airplane or by car. And I know some folks are thinking, well, if you go by car, it'll be a little safer, but the CDC is saying be careful no matter how you go. First, don't go if you can possibly avoid it, but if you have to go, they've got certain suggestions for you. We're going to talk about those in a minute. So, as I mentioned, all unnecessary travel is strongly discouraged. As appealing as those beaches might be, it might be a good year to just say we're staying close to home. So now, if you must travel, and you're going to see some things that are coming up on the screen, make sure you get tested and you self-isolate or lay low before you go. Do not travel if your results are positive. You know, we've seen stories about that happening in the past where someone tests positive and they go to Hawaii anyway, and then they cause all kinds of trouble from a health standpoint. And don't go anywhere if you got any symptoms. Make sure you do those basics we've been talking about from the beginning since about a year ago. Clean your hands often with soap and water or hand sanitizer. I still see a lot of hand sanitizer around, and that's a good thing. And especially if you're using shared amenities or equipment, or you're going to a public restroom, make sure you use those hand sanitizers. Wash your hands, and I'd say double up with doing the hand sanitizer too. Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, or your mouth, and keep 6 feet of space between yourself and others. And don't forget to wear that mask. I've started double masking. I've got that blue mask you see everybody wearing, that you see being worn by hospital personnel as a first layer, and then I wear a City of Edina mask over that. I think, double protection is a good thing. You're trying to keep yourself safe and more importantly, other people safe. And then only have people from the same household in your vehicle with you, in your hotel room or any other small spaces that you might be in. Make sure that you continue to cover your coughs and sneezes, and bring enough medications with you to last the entire trip if you do go somewhere. And consider packing food or picking up food from a store, drive-throughs, or curbside pickup instead of going to a restaurant if you go on a trip. Everyone arriving back in Minnesota, including those Minnesota residents coming back home after a trip, should remember to self-quarantine for 14 days, either alone or with your immediate household members only. Keep in mind that those of you that interact with others during this 14-day period are at high risk of becoming infected, so be careful not to come into contact with anyone who could get very sick if you transmit COVID-19 to them unknowingly, like those with underlying medical conditions and those over 65. So even though we're getting a lot of people vaccinated now over 65, there's still a percentage that don't want to get vaccinated or aren't getting vaccinated yet. So be careful with all of those people. If you do go somewhere, don't have any interaction with them for at least 14 days after you get back. Students coming home to Minnesota, for those of you coming back for a spring break, you should be quarantining ahead of your travel. Be careful where you are on your origin end for college. And then when you get back home, you better be careful as well. Stay with your immediate family. Don't go out and visit all your friends that are also home. Be careful about this 14-day quarantine period. That really gets complicated when you're trying to come home for spring break, but you got to be careful. Public safety, public health first. Keep that in mind. So this is Jim Hovland. This is your Edina Mayor. That was your Mayor's Minute for March 24th, 2021. Stay strong. We're going to get through this together. So we'll see you next week. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay strong. Good to be with you, and see you soon.